The Arizona sun hung heavy in the sky, casting long, golden rays over the dry plains. Dust devils danced along the horizon, and the silence of the land was only broken by the distant neighing of horses. Emma Callahan, daughter of seasoned rancher Jacob Callahan, rode her chestnut mare along the narrow trail that skirted the edge of her father's land. She wore a wide-brimmed hat to shield her auburn curls and a shotgun slung over her back, though she'd never had to use it. Jacob had warned her not to wander too far. The Apache were restless again. Rumors of skirmishes, raids, and ambushes had spread through the frontier towns like wildfire. Still, Emma wasn't one to live in fear. She had grown up on the frontier, learned to track game, handle livestock, and mend fences. But nothing in her 17 years could have prepared her for what came next. As she dismounted near a stream to refill her canteen, the brush behind her rustled. Before she could react, a sharp blow to the back of her head sent her world spinning into blackness. When she awoke, her hands were bound, her hat gone, and the landscape unfamiliar. 3 Apache warriors rode alongside her, their expressions stone cold. Her mare was gone. She now rode on the back of one of their horses. The man riding behind her was tall, broad-shouldered, and silent. His name, she would later learn, was Taza. Fear knotted in her stomach. Her father would be searching for her. He'd never stop until she was home safe. But she also knew the truth of these lands. Once someone was taken by the Apache, they rarely came back. They rode deep into the wilderness, far from any trails Emma recognized. Nights were cold and tense. The warriors barely spoke, and when they did, it was in a language Emma didn't understand. She tried to remember what she'd heard about the Apache: fierce, proud, ruthless when provoked, and wondered what they intended for her. Ransom? Revenge? Marriage? Taza, the silent warrior assigned to guard her, was different. When she tripped, he helped her up without a word. When her wrists bled from the ropes, he quietly loosened them. She noticed his glances, not cruel or possessive, but conflicted. There was something in his eyes that told her he didn't agree with the others. On the 4th night, while the campfire flickered low and the others slept, Taza approached her. He held a piece of dried meat in one hand and a flask of water in the other. She hesitated, then accepted both. For the first time, he spoke in broken English. "You daughter of white cattleman." Emma nodded slowly. "Yes, Jacob Callahan." Taza looked away as if the name stung. "Your father killed Apache before. We take you. They say revenge." Emma's eyes widened. Her father had fought in the Apache wars a decade ago, but she had never known the details. "So they're going to kill me?" Taza didn't answer immediately. He crouched near the fire, poking it with a stick. "Some say yes. Some want trade, or make you one of us. But you no belong." "Then let me go," she whispered, her voice trembling. "Please." Taza looked at her for a long time. His jaw clenched. "Hard. Very hard. But maybe I help." From that moment, something shifted. Taza began to speak with her more often in hushed tones. He explained that he had once lived among white men as a scout for the cavalry, but returned to his people when they were betrayed in a broken treaty. He was a man torn between 2 worlds. Neither fully accepted him. And now, with Emma, he saw a chance to do what was right. But the other warriors grew suspicious. One night, while Taza was out gathering firewood, the others debated her fate. Emma didn't understand their language, but she recognized her name, or what passed for it, and the heated tone of the conversation. They were close to deciding. Taza returned and cut the discussion short, but he knew his time was limited. That night, under the cover of darkness, he whispered urgently to Emma, "Tonight. We go." Emma's heart pounded. "They'll kill you." "I know," he said simply. "But if I do nothing, I become like them. You must live." They slipped into the darkness, carefully avoiding the sleeping warriors. Taza knew the land. He had mapped every trail, every canyon. Emma followed close behind, terrified but trusting. By dawn, they had covered miles, but the sound of war cries behind them shattered the peace of morning. "They follow," Taza muttered. "Fast riders. We must go through Dead Man's Pass." Emma had heard of it. a narrow ravine with steep cliffs where many had died in ambushes or rock slides. But there was no other choice. They rode hard, and as they entered the pass, the morning sun cut through the mist like a blade. Taza dismounted, helped Emma down, and began leading her up a hidden trail carved into the cliffs. Below, the Apache pursuers enter the pass. "They see us," Emma cried. Taza turned, drew his knife, and faced her. "You go. Climb fast." "I stopped them." "No," she pleaded, grabbing his arm. "You'll die." He smiled for the first time. "Better die saving than stealing." "Go, Emma." She climbed, tears stinging her eyes, while behind her, the sounds of a struggle echoed off the canyon walls. Shouts, the clash of weapons, a final cry. When she reached the top, she looked back. Taza was gone. Emma stumbled down the other side of the rocky slope, her legs trembling, heart pounding, and hands scraped from the climb. The sky was turning crimson with the rising sun, casting eerie shadows over the vast canyon below. She didn't know if Taza had survived. She didn't know if the other warriors still followed her. But she knew she had to keep going. She followed a faint trail heading west, in the direction of her father's ranch. Every few steps, she glanced back, praying not to see any movement behind her. Taza had given her a chance. She couldn't waste it. By noon, the desert heat was unbearable. Her lips cracked, her throat burned, and her legs dragged with exhaustion. Just when she thought she couldn't take another step, she heard something, the sound of hooves. She froze. A group of riders appeared from a bend in the hills. Not Apache, but ranchers. At their head was a grizzled man with a rifle across his saddle and wild worry in his eyes. "Emma," the man shouted. It was her father. She ran forward, collapsing into his arms. "Papa!" Jacob Callahan wrapped his daughter in a crushing embrace. "Thank God. We thought you were gone." Emma shook her head, sobbing. "He saved me, Papa." One of them. His name was Taza. The other ranchers exchanged confused, skeptical glances. Jacob frowned. "Saved you?" "An Apache." She nodded. "He betrayed his tribe to protect me. They were going to kill me. He let me escape and stayed behind to fight them off." Jacob looked away, conflicted. He had spent most of his life fighting Apache raiders, watching friends and family fall at their hands. The thought of one doing something selfless, risking his life for a white girl, shattered everything he thought he knew. "We're getting you home," he said gruffly. For days, Emma rested and recovered. The Callahan Ranch was abuzz with visitors, neighbors, lawmen, even reporters from Tucson, all wanting to know how she had survived. But Emma refused to share details beyond one truth. A man named Taza had saved her life. Some believed her. Others scoffed. Probably just wanted her for himself. They muttered behind her back. But she didn't care. She knew what Taza had done, and she couldn't stop thinking about him. 2 weeks later, while Emma was walking near the stream where she had first been taken, she saw something that made her heart stop. A figure limped toward her from the trees, one hand clutching his side, the other holding a broken spear. His clothes were torn, face bruised, and blood stained his chest. But his eyes, those conflicted, gentle eyes, were unmistakable. "Taza," she whispered. He collapsed into the grass. Emma ran to him, cradling his head. "You're alive." "Barely," he muttered, trying to smile. "They think I did." She helped him into the barn and hid him in the loft. That night, after everyone was asleep, she snuck food and bandages to him. Over the next few days, she nursed him back to health in secret. Each night they talked about their worlds, their fears, their dreams. "I don't belong with my people anymore," Taza said one night, gazing at the stars. "But your world, it would never accept me." Emma touched his hand. "I would." Silence fell between them, thick with emotion. "I owe you my life," she said. "But more than that, I trust you. I care about you." Taza looked away, as if afraid to hope. "What we are cannot be." "Maybe not to them," she replied. "But to me, you're the bravest man I've ever met." The next morning, a shout echoed from the ranch yard. One of the ranch hands had spotted movement in the barn. Armed men gathered fast. Emma's heart sank. She ran out, trying to intercept them. "Stop," she yelled. "He's not a threat." But it was too late. Taza stepped from the barn, his hands raised in surrender. Jacob stood at the front of the crowd, rifle raised, eyes cold. "You harboring him?" he asked his daughter, voice quiet with fury. "He saved me," she cried. "You'd rather shoot a man who risked his life than admit not all of them are monsters." Taza stood tall despite his wounds. "If you kill me now, I die a free man. I chose honor." Jacob hesitated. Then, slowly, he lowered his gun. "Go," he said, "before I change my mind." Taza looked at Emma. "I will not forget." She watched him ride off into the hills, tears in her eyes. Years passed. The frontier changed. The Apache were eventually driven to reservations, their resistance broken. But the story of the rancher's daughter and the warrior who saved her became legend. Whispered in saloons, printed in dusty newspapers, passed down in hushed tones. Emma never married. She ran the ranch after her father died, strong-willed and proud. And every year, on the same day, she rode to the stream where it all began and waited. Sometimes, when the wind was right and the sky clear, a figure would appear across the hill, tall, quiet, noble. They'd sit together in silence, hands clasped, knowing they could never share a world but had shared something deeper, something no war or hatred could destroy.